Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Rookie Division with various wins for the Snow Mountain 9-hole Cup here in Golf Clash the game. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button, also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification. For those of you that do want to have the ultimate tournament guide for this 9-hole Cup and obviously the tournaments too that comes in the future, scan the QR code here on the screen or you go directly to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. You can use the link that is in the description down below as well. Follow the info box on the right hand side to get the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also what ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that those are all suggestions and you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but there's always a plan behind it. So let's go to hole number 1. For hole number 1, and now we're going to play the same way as we have always done, which is to bounce on the first fairway over to the second fairway, position ourselves for a short iron towards the pin. Even though with the new hole location to be more right than what it was before, this is going to be a play that's going to be more or less exactly the same as we have done before. Max plus 10 is the adjustment, 1 right spin, 4.5 top spin. I'm playing with a navigator here, as there is no extra value in using more side spin or for that matter more power, but having a wind resistance 1 is definitely a little bit better than a wind resistance. Wind resistance 2 is a little bit better than wind resistance 1 or 0. Now second shot here. The beautiful thing with this type of shot is that even though you have low level clubs, you will be able to take advantage of the ball guideline. You can see here now that even if I have a thorn level 5, I can still use the ball guideline as my reference and actually be able to rely on it. Ball guideline into the hole, I'm using only backspin, no side spin, and I'm in complete min line. And playing from complete min line is going to be super easy, in terms of that you can then always rely on that adjustment is going to be minimum distance minus 10% elevation, and then obviously what Powerball number you using. So we're getting that one to drop dead center for a lovely eagle to start with on hole number 1 with Greenberg slopes with new hole location. For hole number 2 for the Greenberg slopes with new hole location, we're playing an NMT, which is that we're not touching the target until it's time to adjust the rings, playing with a navigator, 4.5 top spin, 1 left spin, playing with 0.75 ball of left curl after the adjustment of max. And the goal here is to make it as simple as possible to get center down the fairway, and from here we're going to play with our sniper on our second shot. Looking at the sniper, we're going to play this one with a lot of elevation, and that is noticeable when you look to where you have the ball compared to where we will be having the first bounce. Now look for min distance here, and you can see here that there is a pretty big sticky spot when I'm wiggling left and right there, and that's the spot we're trying to aim for. So we're moving into the sticky spot, and we are using backspin to leave the ball guideline slightly short of pin. This we do to compensate for the extended ball guideline that we will have when you have a tailwind. 40% elevation with true club distance. So if it is min distance, then min distance. If it is medium distance, it's medium distance. So on. Center the ball. Don't hit great, hit perfect, and a perfect ball will have a good chance. But as the sticky spots are so big, it is definitely a chance to get a drop with a great ball as well if you are very lucky. But a perfect ball is obviously to be preferred on hole number 2 of the Greenberg slopes with new hole location. For hole number 3 for the Greenberg slopes with new hole location, the pin stands more left, which is now much better in my opinion when it comes to going for the rough bump. Before it was more right, and then we had to use a decent amount of side spin or play more on the skinnier part of the rough, which now becomes easier then. So I'm using a little bit of left spin, trying to catch the little sticky spot that I do believe is there from the rough. Whole guideline to go just through the hole, and in the end we do have one top spin and one left spin. Adjustment is going to be max plus 30, which is 4.3 rings for 3.3 miles per hour. Once we have adjusted, we are going to center the ball and do our very best to hit perfect. The katana ball here is not necessary. I only stuck with that one as I thought I was going to need more side spin when I was playing this shot, but then in the end I did run out of time and couldn't change, otherwise I would have been playing with a navigator instead. Hole number 3, Greenberg slopes with new hole location. On hole number 4 with Greenberg slopes new hole location, here we're gonna play the drive just exactly the same way that we have done before. I'm using the big topper here to allow me to play with a lot of topspin, because my goal is to get down to the fairway that is the closest to the green. The only other way really to do here is to lay up on the right side of the fairway, the first fairway, but from there it's going to be a very difficult second shot to drop consistently. So I'm pushing the drive hard with the risk of that there is rough in play, also sand in play, and if I would end up there, I would obviously have a super simple save towards the pin, and I believe that the risk taken is worth due to the reward that we can get if the drive goes to the fairway like that to approximately 3 yards. Now, second shot here, I'm playing with my short iron. Here you play with whatever short iron you do feel confident with. For me, it is the thorn when it comes to the lower levels, and I'm using backspin here and actually relying on the ball guideline. You need to have in mind though that you can't rely on the ball guideline as you do on hole number 1. So here we should be using a little bit of an offset by leaving it slightly short of pin due to the speed that we come in here. Could be a little bit hot if we aim to the hole, especially with the lower level clubs. Minimum distance, no elevation as we're playing from complete min line. Perfect ball it is, and rolls dead center for a lovely eagle here on hole number 4, Greenberg slopes with new hole location. For hole number 5 with new hole location of the Greenberg slopes, now the pin stands more left, which makes the rough bump to be more appealing. So what we're gonna do is to use our Goliath. We're gonna use a little bit of right spin and all but 1 bar of top spin, leaving the ball guideline slightly short line. Here, we do have room to hit a great ball, and that's also the reason why I'm using the Goliath, to have the top spin enough to bounce on the bigger part of the rough. Sure, you can do a bounce over here, you can use a backspin shot, but whenever you can use the ball guideline like this and do a rough bump where you are somewhat not removing completely, but reducing the effect of the wind after the first bounce, is going to be super helpful for consistency. I'm adjusting medium distance plus 10 in the video. I recommend medium distance plus 5 to get ourselves a drop here on hole number 5 with Greenberg slopes hole locations. On the drive here on hole number 6, to always give ourselves an opportunity for a drop, we are going to have to reach over to the bunker. You can see there in the center. 4.5 bar top spin, 2 left spin. I'm using a power 5 ball, as the power 5 ball will allow me to have my first bounce above the bunker in the rough and not have to bounce before, which is otherwise the more common way to play. So I definitely think there is value playing with a power 5 ball here, and I'm using a circle which you can win for free in the shot. Max plus 10 is the adjustment. Circle drop over power, which is just where the circle jumps down. Try to hit perfect, and the ball will bounce on the fairway and getting to roll down nicely. And you can hit great on left side and great left and great right and still be safely on the fairway. Now, second shot, we're going to play with our sniper. And the reason I want to play with the sniper is for its ball guideline. Because if playing with a big dog here, sure, then you will have some more yards, but you will not have a ball guideline follow. So what I'm doing here is that I'm trying to aim not as close to the rough line. I want to aim at the hole, obviously, but using the left spin to making sure that I can stay away from the rough line and allow myself to hit great left. Now, I'm adjusting this one max plus 20 in the video. I would recommend to play max plus 10 based on where I miss. But this is a chance, absolutely, but it's an outside chance. And that's something to have in mind, that this is not some shot that you're going to drop every single time. But by playing like I instruct in the video, it's definitely going to give you a look at it, and that's more than what many others of your opponents. For hole number 7, with the new hole location of the Greenberg slopes, now they have just moved it a little bit more left, so it's still the same type of play. It's either a double bounce over to the green, or especially here on from front tee, I'm using backspin and doing a single bounce up towards the pin. Hole guideline to be slightly short of the hole, adjustments medium distance plus 5, and I'm using a navigator as there is no use a ball with more side spin than 1, because I mean you could use without side spin as well if you would like, but there isn't really many free to play balls that do have no side spin and has the same type of stats as a navigator. Bounces on the fairway, on the fringe, rolls down the green for a lovely hole in 1 here on Greenberg slopes, hole number 7 with new hole location. Greenberg slopes, hole number 8 with new hole location. The play here is not going to change anything really. They have moved the pin to be more left than before, and what we are looking for is to try to attack with our drive, get down to the final fairway path. So all the top spin that you can, the more the better. I'm using a power 5 ball, and we're looking to do a double bounce either over the rough or to clip the rough with the second bounce and then roll out fairway. Max plus 15 is what I'm adjusting the drive, and you can see here now that the ball bounces on the fairway, and as we only have 4.5 bars of topspin, we will only roll out to the other fairway. We won't miss the rough and roll down for it. Obviously a wedge is better than a short iron in my opinion, but this definitely works as well. Now, on the second shot, we are playing with the thorn, and here you can choose obviously whatever short iron you prefer to use. It doesn't really matter, but what matters is that you're going to try to find a spot that is not glitchy, and also try to avoid, in my opinion, using in here. And the reason for that is that the more we push the ball going left, the more risk we're taking of the ball actually rolling off the green down into the water. I have not done it, but I could see that based on how it slopes, definitely something that I could see happen if we're not careful enough. Adjust is going to be 25% elevation, and with true club distance here I'm doing 15 elevation in the video, and that's the reason. Right, it's very easy to forget that this is played pretty massively downhill, and that's what I do as a mistake there to not get the drop. So 25% elevation on the second shot, and that's to add here in the end, you don't have to play with a power 5 ball, but obviously on the drive you will then less overpower, and it will be an easier needle to control. On hole number 9, we are going to play on the left side. The reason for that is that I do believe that the drop from there is going to be easier than if we're going right. 4.5 bar top spin, 2 left spin. The further down we are on the fairway, the better it's going to be on the second shot. Max plus 15 is what I'm using here on the drive. Perfect ball it is. And I'm also using a kingmaker here to allow for use of more side spin. especially if we do want to bounce on the fairway when it comes to the second shot. Because when we get to the second shot, we can decide between two things. Either we do bounce on the fairway, as already said, or we are using a rough bump. And I wanted to display the rough bump here because the rough bump may not be something you are familiar with when watching this video. Because the normal way here is to use some backspin, use all the right spin, and bounce towards the pin. But with the new hole location, the pin has moved more right, which makes the bounce over a little bit more crap, as it's very easy to not find a line, meaning you don't have enough backspin, will not be able to aim at the pin with 3 right spin. Then you're going to have to use curl, then it's going to be a lottery in the end. So I'm using a rough bump. Adjustment here should be true club distance plus 5% elevation. I'm using plus 10 in the video, which also is the reason why I missed on the right hand side. So plus 5% elevation, true club distance is what we're looking for. And here with a perfect ball, there is no reason to be worried about not hitting the rough, even though it looks scary. You can see it comes in with a beautiful speed, but the plus 10 elevation was a little bit too much in this instance. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Rookie Division with various wins for the Snow Mountain 9-hole cup here in Golf Clash the game. This is Greenberg Slopes, a full 9 with new hole location. So it's a very interesting new way to play the Greenberg Slopes. Make sure to scan the QR code here on the screen to get the 9-hole cup guides, the ultimate tournament guide for 9-hole cups. And make sure to crush your opponents. You also have the link to patreon.com/golfclashtommy in the description down below. Thank you once again for watching. Good luck in your Golf Clash game.